What's good? What's good? Welcome here to Pit Boxing with Jimmy James here in Golden Era. We speak here about boxing. We believe in unifications. We believe the best should fight the best, and we are basically Spanish. We speak Spanish in Golden Era, but I'm gonna do certain lives in English too. And we're just trying to promote boxing. So kind of the old school ways for the boxers to fight against each other because today there's a crisis in boxing, and that is that nobody wants to fight against each other. Nobody wants to unify. Everybody's scared of unification for some reason or another. And it's just incredible to me as a boxing fan that a lot of these fans are excusing these boxers and allowing them to do whatever they want and not show any critique to what they're doing to boxing. So I want to I just want to represent boxing, and that's what we do here, and not represent the actual boxer, but boxing, and that's as much as I want to say today. So if you speak Spanish and you want to subscribe to Golden Era, do it in Facebook. Subscribe there. We have a really nice page there with amazing legends from 1920, 1959, and you'll learn a lot there about boxing. So if you're a boxing fan, that's for you. Now, a few things that I want to say when it comes down to this topic. Um, you know, I remember I remember a few years back when Keith Thurman was the top of his division, and a lot of people spoke about Keith Thurman. A lot of people were like, "Oh wow, Keith Thurman is the real dog. He's a real good fighter." I remember fighting against Jesus Soto Carras. I remember him fighting against shit. Who was the other one? Diego Chavez. I thought that was an excellent fight, and so forth, so forth. And I was like, man, I really like this boxer. No, this guy is really good. And Diego Chavez was a really difficult opponent to beat. I had met him in a gym previously, and I've seen him spar, and I knew that that guy was going to be actually pretty good. So when I started actually seeing him, I was like, you know what, this Keith Thurman, man, he's good. I like his style, very explosive. Bam, 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 just really nice hooks, and he just reminded me of a very kind of fighter like Dimitri Bivol to some respect. Just a style so very good boxer. I really liked him, and I remember he used to always say, I want to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr. I want to fight Manny Pacquiao. I want to fight the best of the best of the best. So he was basically the mandatory for Floyd Mayweather Jr. for many years. But Floyd Mayweather Jr. was like, nope, I'm not gonna fight this dude. Floyd Mayweather Jr. most of his career avoided black boxers, especially in the end of his career. He tried to go more with the Latino side, knowing that black boxers were actually just very good and very technical, right? So when it comes down to the boxing world, black boxers today are the most technical you can get in the world, especially the ones in United States. So the ones in the United States, particularly, the other ones are okay, but the ones in the United States are the best ones. They're just trained well to fight. So I wanted to see that fight real bad. I thought Keith Thurman did have a chance to beat Errol Spence Jr. I think his explosiveness and just the way, sorry, Floyd Mayweather Jr. I thought his explosiveness and the way that he actually moved, his foot movement and his defense were just good enough to beat Floyd Mayweather Jr. In fact, in 2015, if I remember correctly, he was actually Keith Thurman was ranked as the boxer with the best defense in the welterweight division. They did some sort of fucking study or something, and he ended up dodging more punches than actually Floyd Mayweather Jr. You can look at it; it's in some article in 2015. So I had high expectations, man, for Thurman, and I was like, okay, you know what? This is the dude that I'm gonna cheer for. Then, Floyd Mayweather Jr. started pushing this other guy. His name is Errol Spence Jr. And I remember Errol Spence Jr. He was known for supposedly beating Floyd Mayweather and giving him a really bad experience in his sparring, where he actually supposedly gave a black eye to Floyd Mayweather Jr. And then Floyd Mayweather Jr. got angry, expelled him from the gym, and yada yada yada. I used to go to that gym around that time. I don't know if the rumor is true, but what is true is that there is a rumor there that was floating for some time. Okay. So anyway, um, Floyd Mayweather Jr. was trying to put Errol Spence Jr. into Keith Thurman because Floyd Mayweather Jr. didn't want to fight Keith Thurman. So he decided to put Errol Spence Jr. to fight Keith Thurman. Kind of a strategical, like, I'm not going to fight you, but, by the way, I'm going to just focus my attention on this dude. So he gets some sort of coverage right now, and I can kind of avoid talking about this Keith Thurman guy. So he fought Andre Roberto. He technically retired from boxing. Then he went to that bullshit with, Conor McGregor and all that nine, which was just stupid. But anyway, it is what it is. So for a long time, I got to admit that, I was like, this Errol Spence Jr. guy, he hasn't deserved a shot against Keith Thurman. He didn't do anything. But little by little, as he started becoming, as he started fighting more, when he fought Kell Brook and defeated him, and to be honest with you, a lot of people um, don't realize that Kell Brook came from 160. He just fought Triple G. Very stupid move for Kell Brook. He got his eye fucked up, and then after that, he had to go down right away um, to 147, and he had to actually make weight the day of the fight, which was very hard because once you acclimate yourself to 160, it just becomes very difficult to lose that weight and just start fighting at 147. I mean, that's very hard. So Kilbrook actually had 6 good rounds. That was a very competitive fight. But then after the fight, he got torn the fuck up. So after that, I was like, wow, okay. Well, so this guy, this Errol Spence Jr. guy, not Kilbrook wasn't in the best circumstances, but he's shown that he's at least, you know, um, he's prime. This dude is raw. This dude is good. He's good. So then I was having issues because he was calling out Keith Thurman, calling him runtime, all sorts of different names where Keith Thurman wasn't responding and whatever. So I knew right away that Keith Thurman actually never really wanted to fight this guy. And I was shocked and I was like, I'm very disappointed with Keith because I was thinking, like, you can beat Errol Spence Jr. if you just pull the dog and not try to box him, like you did with, Sean Porter or, like you did with Danny Garcia. Just go and fight him, like the pitbull that you were with Diego Chavez. You can beat this guy. You have the power. Sean Porter said multiple times that he's never experienced power like that. So you got everything in your favor. But Keith Thurman just didn't want the fight. And I had to accept that as a Keith Thurman fan. I was extremely disappointed. He then started becoming very inactive, supposedly because of injury issues. I mean, was that really an injury? I don't really know. He said his arm hurt. I mean, he had operations, whatever, yada yada yada. Right. So, so then Errol Spence Jr. was calling out Keith Thurman, calling him a coward, pussy, all sorts of names that you would call somebody who just doesn't want to fight you. But then eventually, there was another guy, and his name was Terrence Crawford. And Terrence Crawford was already being avoided by Mikey Garcia. He was already being avoided. I wouldn't say Danny Garcia necessarily because Danny, he could have stayed at 140, but he decided to go to 147. But technically, in 147, I would have to agree that he did avoid Terrence Crawford, but I don't necessarily agree that he avoided him at 140. But he definitely did not want to fight him. So if it might have seemed like he avoided them anyway. And that's what boxers do. They just move up in weight, and a lot of times pretend like they're just moving up in weight, but really just ducking somebody else. So it could be. So whatever it is, Terrence Crawford was a bad man. He just become undisputed at 140. He's like, fuck that. I'm gonna go to 147 and I'm gonna fight Keith Thurman and Errol Spence Jr. and Manny Pacquiao. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna rip their fucking head off. I am the new king on the block. And he just didn't care about none of that politics shit. He just wanted to fight him. Okay. When Terrence Crawford moved up to 147, okay, all the PBC fighters, all of them, okay, did not want Terrence Crawford. Every time they spoke about Terrence Crawford, it was in a demeaning manner, pretending like he wasn't anything, like he didn't have the power, he wasn't strong enough, and all this bullshit that a lot of the fucking Terrence fans and Manny Pacquiao fans were not Terrence, but Errol Spence fans and Manny Pacquiao fans and Keith Thurman fans were excusing. Okay, I wasn't excusing that shit because I already knew that they didn't want to fight him. Okay, that was just clear as day. So don't let your whatever biases blind you from the truth. Okay, they didn't want to fight him. Anytime they had an interview, it's like they all got together to plot and not fight against Terrence Crawford, because perhaps a fighter from top rank should not be beating anybody from PBC, and that could leave a scar for the welterweight division, and that could be a war between Al Heyman and um, Bob Arum. So I remember the fight against Jeff Horn. A lot of people, the fight with Manny Pacquiao and Jeff Horn. A lot of people said, that Manny Pacquiao was going to just go there and broom him. But I was like, well, we'll see, because this guy, I mean, it doesn't seem like he's going to be easy. So the fight happened, and I didn't predict that he was going to win, but I predicted he was going to be more difficult than what people gave him credit for, and end up happening the way that I thought it was going to be. So Manny Pacquiao lost the fight. In the ninth round, he had this best round, but to be honest, he didn't impress me in any way. And I felt like he did miss a lot of punches, especially because Jeff Horn started using a very awkward style and putting pressure on the pressure fighter, which really fucked up Pacquiao in that fight. Pacquiao lost, okay, and he should have had a rematch, but he decided not to rematch him because he saw that Terrence Crawford was right behind his ass in the WBO. So he decided to just basically go to a different organ or another organism in the division. So then Terrence Crawford says, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go against Jeff Horn." When he fought Jeff Horn, he cleaned him out. He destroyed him, no controversy, and that is what it is. Okay, that is what it is. Nobody wanted to fight him, so he fought Jose Ramirez. He fought Eligius Caballascas. Okay, fighters that none of the PBC fighters have fought, and somehow all the people who oppose Terrence Crawford are saying that those opponents are not quality, but there's no evidence of that shit because none of the fighters that are in PBC have fight any of those dudes and defeated. In fact, when they were criticizing Jeff Horn not being good enough, well, bitch, he actually beat Pacquiao. How about that? And Terrence Crawford went and wiped him out without no controversy. So now, what's the excuse? So a lot of haters hate Terrence Crawford. Okay, there's a lot of hating in Terrence Crawford. I see that as crazy to me because this guy has become undisputed. Errol Spence Jr. never become undisputed in any division. He didn't become undisputed in no division. He's always literally hold that same belt for a long time. And then the fighter that he fought, Sean Porter. I mean, he selected Sean Porter. Sean Porter was also evading Terrence Crawford too. Okay, when he had the belts. So it is what it is. So Errol Spence at that point, he every time Terrence Crawford was calling him, he was not confident. That dude knew that Terrence Crawford wanted his ass. He wanted his head in a silver platter. And and Errol Spence looked exactly to me like Keith Thurman. That's what it is. I remember they both were walking. I guess it's in a fight, after a fight, and they were just walking down the stadium, and then suddenly they saw each other. Bob Arum was there, and to me, the one who was more confident was Terrence Crawford. He knew right away that this bitch of Errol Spence Jr. did not want to fight him. Okay, and Errol Spence Jr., you were talking all this shit about Keith Thurman, but now you're the one, brother, who doesn't want to actually fight. Who doesn't actually want to fight. You know, um, Terrence Crawford. So to me, that shows all I need to know about what is happening. Okay, in the welterweight division, nobody wants to fight Terrence Crawford. Manny Pacquiao. Okay, he didn't even want to fight Terrence Crawford, and he was with Top Rank for a long time. So it's no promotional issues. The problem is that the fighters themselves, they don't want to take that risk. They don't want to fight against the best. They see Terrence Crawford as a guy who will blow them out the water. That's how I see it. Okay. Kell Brook was acclimated to 140, 154. Okay, he was there for 3 years. Mark DeLucas made other boxers over there who were good quality, and he said he felt stronger 154 than he did in 147. When he fought against Terrence Crawford cleaned him off the fucking shelf. Okay, it was quick. Okay, and this is a Kell Brook that was in a much better position than um, than when he fought Errol Spence Jr. Okay, because when he fought Errol Spence, you remember he was actually going down in weight. So that's a lot to me. That says a lot. Okay, and he destroyed Kilbrook. He no controversy, no controversy. Hey, what's up, Bryson? How you doing, my man? To speak school shouting. Okay, school shooting. All right, cool, cool. So it is what it is. And I felt very disrespected because Terrence Crawford is really trying to get the fights. He's really trying to make it happen, but nobody wants to fight him. So what's the deal, man? Like, if you're not going to fight the best, then what's the deal? Like, how can you excuse Errol Spence Jr. and now he's asking for 60-40 in the negotiations, but then he was caught in joking around that he wants 70-30. I don't take that as a joke. I take that as that basically what he's saying is I don't want to fight Terrence Crawford. Okay, it's always been Terrence Crawford, the one who's been the aggressor against Errol Spence Jr. And that's how you know that he doesn't want the fight. Errol Spence Jr. He doesn't want the fight, just like Errol Spence Jr. was the aggressor against Keith Thurman. That's why I brought him up in the beginning of this conversation. Okay, that said everything I need to know about the situation with Errol Spence Jr. He doesn't want to fight him. Okay, he's going to put every excuse in the book. He saw what happened with Akil Brook, and he knows that can happen to him, and that will destroy. That will technically destroy it. When the fact is that if you fight the best, man, if you fight the best, you're going to get respect, man. You're going to get respected. But that's not what he wanted to do. So now he's saying stupid shit like 70-30, 60-40. You know, to me that's insane. That's basically saying I don't want the fight. Okay, Terrence Crawford and you as a boxing fan, you can't be excusing these guys because of the money bag. Okay, because listen, that they earn the money, you don't earn the money. They're the ones who actually are getting this money. You're the one paying them because you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You pay these guys and then they'll fight each other. Okay, this is not the 90s anymore. You can't support fighters who are not willing to risk and fight. Okay, Terrence Crawford has always risked. He always wanted the fights. Okay, but in this day and age in boxing, everybody avoids each other. So fighters like him are going to be avoided, and the fans are going to excuse the people who are the boxers who are actually avoiding these fighters. That's insane to me. So don't call yourself a fucking boxing fan if you are the one who is basically allowing for this shit to happen, giving excuses for the boxers to not fight each other. Nigga, shut the fuck up. You don't have the money bag. They do. Okay? And if they do, it's because of you. You're giving them that money. And they're not respecting you. They're not fighting. So you got to stop supporting. Errol Spence Jr. is ducking Terrence Crawford. Errol Spence Jr. is ducking Terrence Crawford. Okay, there's no argument with that. I can't believe people defend Errol Spence Jr. Everybody else, he fought everybody else, but when it comes down to Terrence Crawford, his throat starts to itch. He has potato throat. You know, that's right. Maybe Crawford needs to leave Top Rank. Yeah, but they will avoid him too. Even if he left Top Rank, they're going to avoid him too. Just like Manny Pacquiao avoided him in Top Rank when he was in Top Rank. He was avoided too. You know what I'm saying? So it's a mess, man. It's a mess. What they've done to Terrence Crawford is very sad. I consider Terrence Crawford my favorite boxer as far as stylistically. I think he's excellent. But to be honest, I just seeing how the fans and the American fans react to this shit is depressing because he really does fight the best. He's not scared. He would make that fight in a second. But when you price yourself out, you're basically saying in a fuck you way, I don't want to fight you, and that's what Errol Spence Jr. has been doing. He's never wanted Terrence Crawford, and to be honest with you, to me, Errol Spence Jr. is even though he fought Sean Porter, even though he fought Kell Brook and Danny Garcia, um, he- to me, the fight is Errol Spence Jr. And I mean Terrence Crawford, and you don't want to fight him. So that's how I see it. I don't care about the fucking excuses. I don't make the money. You don't make the money either. They make the money, and you're the one that's paying them, giving them the excuse to not fight against the best. You're allowing that shit to happen. So I don't put up with that. I don't put up. Yeah, that's right. Spence needs that fight. Spence needs that, and Terrence Crawford needs that fight too. But it is what it is. So, disappointed with that. Disappointed with that. So for all you boxing fans, that like this chat, make sure you subscribe here in Golden Era Boxing and YouTube here with Jimmy James, and also subscribe to Facebook too, and get your live coverage there. I'm gonna make another coverage here also in Spanish too, talking about the same topic. So please subscribe and see you in the next one. Peace up.